Let me ask you something. Why are you still stuck at 50k a month when you could be doing 100k? Why are you wasting time and money on bad funnels, weak sales teams, and endless hours of marketing that leads nowhere? Here's the truth. Most businesses don't need more time or money to scale. They need a system that doesn't just work, but dominates. And that's where I come in. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how we helped Seven Figure Closer, one of our portfolio companies, generate over $500,000 in just 6 months. And this is real strategy, real execution, and real results. So buckle up, because if you're ready to stop playing small and start scaling like a boss, this video is for you. All right, we are going to dive into the fun part now, because this is how we generated 571k for Seven Figure Closer within 6 months. And we did all this by leveraging their funnels, their ads, and their email marketing. So what is Seven Figure Closer? Some background information. It is an info business that teaches individuals how to become a high ticket closer. And these were the challenges at start. Managing their lead generation, their sales calls and operations all at once. And they needed scalable systems to unlock their full potential. And well, we definitely gave them their full potential, because they struggled at start with a consistent lead flow and converting those leads into high quality calls. Of course, the sales was no problem for them. By the way, for those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Bobby Ambaum, founder of Scaling Solutions and the guy who's been behind some of the biggest wins in the info business industry in Europe. I've worked in sales for nearly a decade. I started as a sales rep, climbed my way up to managing teams, and made millions for my clients along the way. I've sat at the table with the biggest players in the info business industry. I've worked with the largest payment software system in the Netherlands, and I've given more than 100 webinars, spent over 2 million on ads, and implemented over 1,000 automations to scale businesses the right way. At Scaling Solutions, we've taken companies from 50k to 100k a month, from 100k to 200k a month, and even beyond 400k a month. But today we are focusing on the smaller players, the ones doing 50 or 100k a month, but struggling to break through. If that's you, pay attention, because this could change everything. Let's dive into it. We had some different strategies in the lead gen, and it was one big one was the organic strategy. The other one was about ads, Meta ads and YouTube or Google ads. So let's dive into the organic strategy at first. So what did we do? We generated traffic from Reels, the site traffic that we got from ads, and from a growth tool. And this growth tool, maybe I will tell you some more about this in some of my upcoming videos, but it is something that we use for our clients only, and it is not widely available on the internet. And I would say that it did like 20% of the results that we did for Seven Figure Closer was because of this growth tool. So from these 3 pillars, we got traffic to their Instagram profile. So all likers and followers were followed up by their appointment setters. So they got outbound messages. So all the new followers, all the new likes that came in got outbound messages from their appointment setter. We didn't automate this. So this was fully manual, and with good setters, you can get crazy results, believe me. And we got inbound results from this traffic as well. So how did we get those inbounds? Well, we did story pushes. And we did, for example, polls. We did call to actions like DM Closer if this sounds like you or this sounds like a right fit. And we put opt-ins for a lead magnet on there as well. And the lead magnet was a training on how to become a high ticket closer. All right, so let's go to the inbound strategy first. So from those story pushes, we got inbound leads, and sometimes, for example, when we dropped a lead magnet, it went straight to a booked appointment. But of course, that's not always the case. So when they responded to a poll or to a call to action, the appointment setter reached out, and then they started the conversation, and the appointment setter would qualify the lead, and then they would book the appointment. Well, the other way was the outbound strategy. And we didn't do outbound to non-followers or non-likers because we already had enough traffic just of the new followers and likes that came in through these 3 pillars. All right. So the appointment setter would reach out with a message, and from there on, it was possible that the appointment setter would book a meeting directly. Of course, that's also not always the case. Sometimes we would send a lead magnet to warm them up a little bit, and sometimes from the lead magnet, they would book an appointment directly, and sometimes they needed some follow-up after it as well. So, hey, what did you think about the training that you watched? Is it something that you would consider? Yada, 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 yada. And then a booked appointment. What did we do here? When the appointment was booked, people got an email sequence, and this was automated, of course, and they got a pre-call by the closer. And besides the pre-call by the closer, they got messages and reminders from the owner of Seven Figure Closer himself. So, of course, the appointment setter would talk out of the name of the owner and would send messages like, hey, you are hopping on a call with my head of sales or head advisor, and well, make sure that you are prepared well. Did he already give you a call? Yada, 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 yada. Then the sales call would take place. Now, sometimes, because they were really good closers, they booked the deal directly. Bang. Deal, yes, went straight into onboarding. We have a lot of knowledge about onboarding and delivery and automating that as well, but that's not what we are here for today. So when this would happen, nice, lovely. Wasn't it a deal directly? Then again, there would be sent a follow-up message by the owner of Seven Figure Closer out of his name. Like, hey, I heard you had a call with the head of sales and he told me XYZ. Can you tell me some more about it? Or can you share me some of your thoughts about the call so we can better our service, or that it will be a right fit for you, etc., etc., etc. So we would send call reminders for the follow-up, we would send value, and we would try to kill their objections before they would hop on the follow-up call. Well, if the follow-up call would take place and it would be a deal, then it would go straight into onboarding. Wasn't it a deal? Well, then we would put it in the pipeline long-term follow-up. And this is a whole different thing as well already. The long-term follow-up pipeline stage, we have a whole strategy behind this, but this is more about the sales process and not about the funnel that we are talking about right now. So this was our organic strategy. And I see a lot of people use appointment setters, but they are not using it to their full potential. And this looks pretty easy, and it is pretty easy. And if you have the right SOPs in place, like the amount of messages that someone needs to do, the amount of appointments that someone needs to book, the exact strategy on how to prepare the closer rightly for the call, and how to create a summary so that the closer knows exactly what they discussed, etc., etc., well, then you can create a killer organic strategy. And I would say that you can generate between 40 to 100K only using this strategy. That's sick, right? Because the profit margins on this are crazy. All right, let's dive into the ads. So this was the ad strategy that we used, and this is kind of simplified for you guys. But what we did, we ran Meta ads and we ran YouTube ads. And with Meta, I mean, of course, Instagram and Facebook. So I will tell you first about because the campaigns that we ran through the same type of landing pages. So both the Meta strategy as the YouTube strategy was the same. Of course, the creatives are different, but the funnel behind it was the same. So we ran all the traffic to 2 types of funnels. And this was the first one. It was an opt-in with a landing page where they could opt in for a free training. And the free training we call it a VSL, a video sales letter. And after watching the VSL, they were able to book a call, but they weren't able to book a call directly. No, they were only able to book a call after 5 minutes of watching the video. Then a button would pop up like, hey, do you want to book a call? And exactly on that point of the video, there was a call to action as well. So we had multiple call to actions, but the first call to action became visible after like 5 minutes. And in the video, the call to action was, and there was spoken about the call to action after around 5 minutes.
as well. So what we did as well, and what is a really good strategy, what brings in extra revenue as well, is I see a lot of people do booking a call directly to Calendly. But if there isn't a spot available or something, then someone won't book the call and you will lose the lead. So what did we do? We put a type form in front of the Calendly, and we made sure that people were taken through the questions in a really nice way, because Typeform is really conversion optimized. And at the end, we asked them like, hey, do you want to book a call? And sometimes they did book the call, but sometimes they didn't, but we didn't lose the lead. They answered all those valuable questions and we could follow up with them. So if the Typeform was submitted, then it went to Calendly. And if they didn't book a call after 15 minutes after submitting the Typeform, then a Slack automation would be sent. So there would be send a message to a Slack channel where the appointment setters and the sales team is on, like, hey, this guy is a hot lead. He just wanted to book a call. He didn't do it. Hop on it straight away. And it was first come, first served. So if people would put their emoji in the Slack channel, well, then it was their lead and they needed to follow up with them right away. So if they did book the call, well, then it would be sent to a sales call sequence. And there was an email sequence, of course, and also the sequence that we discussed right here with the messages from the owner, etc. Like, hey, I see you booked a call with some of my people after watching a video. Can I help you with something? Yada, yada, yada. And this strategy, of course, on a really, really big scale, it's really hard. But if you are a little bit smaller, I would definitely send those messages with every lead you got, because it will definitely higher your conversion rates. All right, so if they didn't submit the Typeform, then they would be sent to email sequences to book a call. And never underestimate this, because this email sequence that I'm going to talk about, it generated like 20 to 30% of our calls. So yeah, imagine what that does to your cost per call, your cost per acquisition, etc., etc. So the sales call sequence after they booked a call through the email sequence is exactly the same as we discussed here. All right, so we had a different campaign as well, because this is a pretty standard campaign. You see this a lot nowadays. We were one of the first ones with putting Typeform in front, but I see a lot of people do it now because it just works. But what did we do here? We had a recruitment kind of funnel. So it went to a landing page with an embedded Typeform, and the title of the embedded Typeform was something like, hey, do you want to become a great sales rep, or have you got what it takes to become XYZ, or do you want to have a position at XYZ company, or do you want to have a position as a high ticket closer? Well, apply here. And we call this the recruitment funnel. Of course, it went from this funnel to booking a call and to selling the high ticket coaching, and to be able to give them, after the high ticket coaching, to introduce them to a network of clients that they could work with. If the Typeform was qualified, they were allowed to book a Calendly. Same strategy here, booked after 15 minutes, no, okay, Slack automation, booked after 15 minutes, yes, sales call sequence. All right. Wasn't the Typeform qualified, for example, in a way that they didn't have any money or they were not willing to invest, then we would do an outbound call. So as well, a Slack automation was sent, but it wasn't a qualified lead. It was like a lead that they could follow up with at any time they want, just if their Calendly wasn't fully booked or something. If their calendar wasn't fully booked or something, then they could call these leads. And a lot of them, in the end, turned out to be qualified after all. So they could be sold the high ticket offer, but sometimes also a low ticket offer. And as well, here, the sales call sequence, if a call was booked and it was qualified, wasn't it qualified, well, then it went to the lost section of our pipeline. And we also did some stuff with this. So lead is like almost never lost, unless it's like a wrong number or something. And they went into a email nurture campaign as well. So this was just an evergreen email nurture campaign. And what I'm going to tell you about now is about the strategy that we used with our email marketing campaigns, where all the qualified leads that didn't book a call went to. And that's this. And email sequences, ugh, boring, right? Yeah, super boring, but it gave sick results. And we optimized this and optimized this and optimized this, and we looked to competitors, what kind of emails are they writing, and we optimized, and then we got to this killer email sequence. I'm not going to share you the copy of this email sequence because it's about the strategy, about how many emails you send in how many days, etc. All right, so this was the recruitment funnel email sequence. So did they book a call? No, direct email. Email 1 on the same day as they opted in, like after the 15 to 30 minutes as well. Did they book a call? Yes, okay, funnel would end. Didn't they book a call? All right, email 2. So the email 1 went to the VSL, email 2 was to claim access to some kind of video or to claim access to a low ticket offer, something like that. Did they book a call? Yes, and didn't they book a call? Okay, well, then I went to email 3. Some personal results, but also the possibility to book a call. Email 3 was about this. You almost found gold and now you want to stop. So that's a little bit of the scarcity, like, oh shit, I almost got something, but am I backing out now, yes or no? All right, email 4, you are a different breed, you are made different. So this went on a little bit on their ego, and we got a lot of good results with this one. And email 6 was just a last resort, or email 5, email 6, I don't know, I made a little mistake here. But email 6 was about, it's a shame that we haven't met yet. And this was kind of a last resort, like this will be the last time I'm reaching out, yada, yada, yada. And this brought in around like 20% of the booked calls. All right, so then we have the VSL funnel. And this was the email sequence after the VSL funnel. Of course, here, if they did book a call, then the VSL funnel would end. All right, so this was the VSL email sequence funnel. And directly after 11 minutes, they got an email with a recording of the VSL. So they could always rewatch it, and from there on, they could book a call. If they did book the call, then of course the sequence would end. After 4 hours, they would get a second email. You want to lose the chance. Well, of course, they didn't want to lose the chance, so a lot of people booked an appointment after this one. And then on day 1, they got the third email, why 95% doesn't succeed. And then on day 2, they got the fourth email with social proof and why they will never make it to $600 or 600 euros in a day if they wouldn't make this decision right now. And day 3, email 5, someone else will have your dream life. Day 4, email 6, don't stop now, you almost reached the gold. So this one worked really well here as well. And then day 5, email 7, book now or lose the chance. And then day 6, email 8, what's stopping you? What's withholding you from booking the appointment? All right. So then we had a killer sales process. And I will drop this killer sales process when we reach 200 subscribers. But of course, we are just starting off right now. And I hope that you really love this video at this point. And I will drop the video about the whole sales process that we used when we reach 200 subscribers. All right, so
let's talk numbers. In just 6 months, we helped 7-figure closer generate 580K in revenue. That's €500,000 in half a year. And here is how it looks month by month.
All right, so let's go to the numbers now. I will first dive into the numbers and then I will show you some proof according to the dashboarding that we set up for them. So the ad spend was 100K and it resulted in 571K of revenue. And we can see that here. So on December 2023, they did 30.7K. January 2024, 66K. February 2024, 75K. March 2024, 121K. April 2024, 143K. And May 2024, 133K. There came around 606 booked calls in. We call this deals because we use the HubSpot CRM, and a deal would mean a booked appointment, and every deal had then different stages. For example, the no-show stage. And there were, from the 606 deals, there were 128 deals that didn't show up. And those 128 deals meant that there was a show-up rate of 79% or a no-show rate of 21%. The average cost per call was around 160 euros and the revenue per booked call was around 1K. So around 1K, a little less, as you can see here, 606 booked calls and around 1K revenue per call. Not even per show up, but per booked call, which is amazing. And in the end, there were 150 deals closed, and 150 deals out of 606 booked calls is a conversion rate of 31%. The average deal size was 3,807 euros, as we can see right here. And per source, we track the average deal amount, as we track a lot of stuff like show-up rates, etc., per source as well. But this was an interesting one because we can see that through the organic traffic, there is the most amount of deal size. So the most money came in through the deals that were booked through the organic traffic. And the show-up rate there was the highest as well, which is kind of logical. This was really interesting to see because the calls that they booked themselves, their average deal size was the lowest. How is that possible? Deals that they booked themselves by outbound calling had the lowest average deal size. Well, we saw here that the only manner in how they booked them themselves was if they were not qualified. So if they were not qualified in the funnel, then they would do the outbound calling and call them themselves. And of course, then the average deal size is lower because they are less qualified than the people who come in through the organic traffic and are qualified by a setter. All right, so these were the details, the most interesting details that I wanted to share with you.
That's what consistent, scalable growth looks like. But let me break it down further. We booked 606 qualified appointments in those 6 months. Our average cost per lead, between 8 to 20 euros. Cost per call, 125 euros. And here's the kicker. Every single call brought in around 1,000 fucking euros in revenue. And that's the kind of ROI most businesses only dream about. This isn't luck, this is strategy, this is execution, and this is what happens when you stop guessing and start playing the game like a pro.
What are the key takes from this video? These are the key takes. So, email marketing definitely makes a difference. Like around 20 to 30% of the booked calls through the ads were from the email marketing. Organic leads bring in the most money and drive profits. They drive profits a lot. They have the highest average deal size. And I can't stress this enough. Never get rid of your organic lead flow. Keep, even if the money is coming in through ads, keep focusing on your organic lead flow because it's crazy amount of profits. And if there are days that it's going like less and less with your ads, or maybe you have blocks on your ad accounts or something, I don't know, then you still have your organic lead flow, what brings in a lot of money without a lot of costs. And being up the ass of your sales team is key. I can't stress this enough, and I didn't discuss this in this video, but when we get 200 subscribers, I will tell you the exact strategy on how we were up the ass of the sales team, the exact strategy that Seven Figure Closer used to scale their sales team to these crazy amounts. Then the dashboarding. The dashboarding that makes you know where to double down on, because if we didn't have all this information, we never knew that we needed to double down on the recruitment funnel, because the recruitment funnel was a funnel that no one was running. It was really a new strategy. No one did it. Everyone worked with VSLs back then, and that was the new upcoming thing that worked for everyone, yada, yada, yada. And we were like, no, we are going to try something different. And this recruitment funnel, just by being creative, brought in a lot of money. All right. The next video, I already told you, when we reach 200 subscribers, you will get access to the exact strategy that we used in this case. But the next video that I'm going to drop either way is about why it's important to set goals for your marketing and your sales team, a little gamification as well for your marketing as your sales team, why it's important to have a full recruitment or hiring funnel, and the sales management. So Why is it important to hire a sales manager and don't be in the operations too much yourself? Or if you are a really qualified sales guy, well, then it's sometimes okay to do the sales management yourself. But otherwise, I would recommend to outsource this to a sales manager who has gone through it all, because it's definitely a headache to work with salespeople. Trust me, I know.
When we started working with Seven Figure Closer, they were facing the same problems I see in like 90% of businesses that are stuck at 50 or 100K a month. And let me guess, this sounds like you. You've got a bad funnel that leaks leads like a broken pipe. Your sales team couldn't close a door, let alone a deal. And you're drowning in marketing tasks, but nothing's working. And you spend months of growing only to watch it all decline the next. Sounds familiar? Here is what we did. We built a bulletproof system. We optimized their funnels, we trained their team, and we turned their email list into a money printing machine. And we made scaling look easy. Because here's the thing. Scaling isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about building systems that dominate, so you can focus on what matters. Closing deals, growing your business, and living the life that you actually want. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to keep spinning your wheels, wasting time and money, or are you ready to scale like a boss? If you are serious about taking your business to the next level, here is what you need to do. DM me on Instagram through the link in the description and let's talk. Let's build a system that actually works, and let's make sure you're not leaving a single fucking penny on the table ever again. And hey, if you found this video valuable, and I know you did, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below and let me know what kind of content you want to see next, like case studies, behind the scenes strategies, interviews with industry leaders, you name it, I will deliver. Remember, success doesn't wait for anyone, so stop waiting and start scaling. I'm Bobby Ambaum, and I will see you at the top.